here. They've been helping me with my gymnastics, so I feel really thrilled to learn new tricks at my age and a new sport. So it's been
Some
fun.
of these athletes performed as recently in Olympic competition as 1988 in Calgary and in Seoul.
Right.
What do you think they haven't quite yet realized about what the Olympic experience will always mean in their lives as they move on?
Well, I think the Olympics is a feeling of euphoria, just making the team and all the attention that you get from the media and just being involved with it. But there's also a sense of responsibility being that kind of athlete, that you're a role model now and you can give back to your sport that you train so hard at. For someone who goes to the Olympics, they never come back from the Olympics the same person that they were before they went. It's such a feeling of, you know, total concentration, all the hours of training that you have to do. It's very emotional to compete in the Olympics. It's a very public thing, but it's also a very personal thing. And I think the expectations that you have for yourself as an athlete and the expectations that the public has for you, it can really change your life.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, our salute to the Olympians, representing 19 Olympic medals, 10 of them gold. Here are the Olympians. From France, Jean-Luc Caron, Kelly Garrison, Michelle Berube, Brandy Johnson, Romania's Lavinia Agaki, Brian Orser, Rosalind Summers, Carruthers, Nadia Comaneci, Cousins, and Peggy Fleming. Making an Olympic team makes all the work and the training worthwhile. Winning a medal makes it even better. The applause is pretty nice, too. Impressive group, isn't it? And now let us take you to meet a young lady who hopes to join that group of medalists in the very near future, say about 13 days from now. She trains to the north and west of Vail in Edmonton, Alberta. In the early hours of the morning, she too starts her day the way all athletes do, warming up. She's a world champion, our current national champion. Her name is Christy Yamaguchi.
Every athlete enjoys preparing for a competition. You know, once you get there, you want to be the most prepared you can, and any amount of hard work that you put into it is worth, you know, the final outcome.
The person who works right alongside her is her coach, Christy Ness.
I've been coaching Christy Yamaguchi now for 11 years. And when she started, you know, we were working, just learning skills, just learning the basic jumps. My role right now is more of it's a coaching role rather than a teaching role. It's a role of showing her, you know, just guiding her and keeping her on the right track.
All right, triple Lutz, please.
That was beautiful. To me, that was gorgeous. It was like high, flowing, big. You had big arms when you came out of it. It's a gorgeous jump.
You know, there are some days where you wake up and say, oh, do I really have to go into the ring today? And, oh, I feel a little tired. But once you get into the routine, into the day, you set some goals for yourself and you start working towards them, and it ends up being okay.
That's good. Well, Christy's competitive spirit is a quiet one. I mean, you don't sometimes see it in an outward fashion. She doesn't always talk about what she wants to do, but you see it in her actions, and you see it in her determination and her in the way she works during practice. And then also when she goes out to compete, you just see the love of her skating and the inner drive that she has come through.
The thing that I like best about skating is going out to put on a performance and express myself with the music, and you know, just involving the crowd as much as I can.
This is what it takes, day after day, to reach an Olympic level of performance. It also takes money. Christy was a recipient of a travel and training grant from the Women's Sports Foundation, which helped her overcome some of the financial demands of training.
Every little bit helps, and you know, it helped me pay for a competition costume and for a pair of boots. You know, of course, what you need for the training and our competition.
Skaters, when they receive assistance, such as the travel and training fund, it usually gives them a big boost because they feel like somebody's behind them, like somebody believes in them and really is interested in their skating, and that, hey, they have a chance to make it. They have a chance to reach their goals. That's good.
Now, some of the current and potential Olympians who have received travel and training grants include luge sliders Cammie Myler and Bonnie Warner, gymnast Shannon Miller, and rhythmic gymnast Naomi Hewitt-Couturier, whose coach was Wendy Hilliard. Sudafed is a national sponsor of both the Women's Sports Foundation and this program. Terry Stevens here is the Vice President and General Manager of Burroughs Welcome, and he has good reasons for this commitment. Terry?
This program tonight is just one part of that sponsorship. It also includes the Women's Annual Awards Dinner in New York and the Sudafed Sports Fantasy Camp in Boca Raton.
Bob, we encourage all sports and fitness enthusiasts, and especially women athletes, to become members of the Women's Sports Foundation. So if you're interested in membership or you're interested in helping a future athlete, please call the Women's Sports Foundation.
And coming up, a tribute from our gymnasts to an unsung Olympic hero who sings.
So, what does he have to say?
Did you know that the 1988 United States Olympic gymnastics team had an honorary captain? It was singer Kenny Rogers. He earned that title by recording a song called Put Your Heart in It and dedicating it to the U.S. gymnasts. And so now, to that tune, the gymnasts dedicate this one to you, Kenny.
We knew it was 1 in a million. It was such a long shot, but somehow we got here together, and who knows what will happen. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Anything. If we keep getting better. Keep getting better. started, we were always getting closer. Suddenly it happened. Suddenly it happened. Suddenly, a chance in a lifetime. Chance in a lifetime. Now we're gonna take it. We can make it. When you put your heart in it, it can take you anywhere. Who's to say that we can't make it? It's the same dream that we share. Keep on believing. Keep on believing. Keep on believing. When you put your heart in it, when you put your heart, it can take you anywhere. Who's to say that we can't make it? It's the same dream that we share. When you put your heart in it, it can take you anywhere.
Not just the gymnasts, but all the athletes have put their hearts, minds, and bodies in it for most of their lives. And now is the moment in the story when we move on to the next phase of an athlete's life. It represents the time when their competitive careers are over. And now it's time to use their skills more or less for fun. You'll see that right after we go back to New York and our Prudential Update studio. Back to the Sudafed Skating and Gymnastics Spectacular. The competitive phase of an athlete's life can be an emotional and physical roller coaster, good times and bad. When it's over, for many, there's a terrible void. But for others, they have a chance to move on to a whole new life, where they can put their skills to work for the entertainment of an audience. In just a moment, you'll see more of what we mean. But first, let's flash back to 1984, the Olympic trials. Diane Durham had been America's leading gymnast for 3 years, and during that string, she'd had many victories over the eventual Olympic gold medalist, Mary Lou Retton. But then, she injured her ankle at the trials, and the dream came to an end. Diane, how did you get over that terrible time? So much work and so much expectation, and then cut short just before the ultimate payoff.
Well, it took about 3 years to get over it. It happened when I was 16 years old, and I had trained my entire life for the Olympic Games.
I guess there's a couple of interesting possibilities. When a tremendous disappointment like that happens to you when you're 16 years old, somebody could say, gee, the person scarcely has the maturity to deal with that kind of devastation. On the other hand, I guess you could say, well, it happens young, the whole life is ahead, plenty of time to repair.
Exactly. I had a lot of support on my side after the injury, coaches, friends, my parents, and when I got the call to do the shows, it just made my career more spectacular.
Now the most important question. Do you always dress like this?
Oh, always. I have many of these in my closet.
Well, coming up, a little medley of tunes that should bring back a lot of memories for all the baby boomers and fans of early rock and roll. Here it comes.